We've just heard this announcement from Sajid Javid in the Commons. It's not entirely a surprise, but how will it affect you on the ground trying to run a care home?
It's quite massive, really. We've got quite a few staff, and I know across the board in the whole of social care that there's a massive void of people already for working within the care sector, and this is only going to make it worse. But then I also feel that the people that we look after need to be protected, and they need to have that ability to be able to speak for themselves, which is what we do for them. And us as a company, we would rather people have the vaccination.
Difficult, is it, to recruit staff at the moment?
Yeah.
It's really difficult. I think people have seen a lot of things on the media, a lot of things regarding social care. I think it's completely misunderstood. I think people have seen that the complete unawareness of the government to recognise social care and the things that it does do. And it's just causing absolute problems with recruitment and retention.
Hey, Simon, though, to the Health Secretary, who says, you know, people, if your parents are in a care home, they may be susceptible if they're above a particular age. They may have other pre-existing conditions. Isn't it just common sense, if we're preventing relatives visiting their loved ones in a care home, which we have been, then surely the staff themselves should be vaccinated to limit the danger to as much as you can to vulnerable people?
No, absolutely. And my thought is that I would recommend to everybody that they have the vaccine, regardless of where they work and what they do. Certainly in social care, we have a duty of care to the people that we look after. And as part of that duty of care, it should be to be able to protect them from this virus. The best way that we can protect them is by making sure that we follow the guidelines and the rules that are laid out by the government, and that we recommend people have the vaccinations. If people choose to have the vaccinations, it's going to massively affect the sector, but that's their personal choice. For me, I certainly think everybody should have the vaccination, and people are willing to put their work at risk by not having the vaccination and their lives. Most importantly, if we'd have done this in the first place, if someone had said to us when COVID first came about that we would have a way out, but that way out is via vaccinations, I think majority of people, or all of the people that certainly I worked with, would have taken your hand off for it. Now things have changed. People are starting to doubt the vaccine. They're doubting the governments, why they're doing it now. Why are they making everybody have this vaccination? There's too much stuff on social media. There's too much rubbish going about. And what they need is to be told that actually this is the best way out of COVID that we can find.
About 1 in 10 staff working in care homes for older adults who haven't been double jabbed. When you ask those members of staff who do not want to have the jab, what is the explanation they give?
Sure, for the most part, they can't actually give a rational reason. Some of it's that this is what they're being told by their GP back in a different country sometimes. Sometimes people just believe that what they've read on social media and what the minority of people are trying to, the scaremongers, are trying to say. There's no rational reason. And although we've sat down with these people, we've talked to them, we've offered opportunity after opportunity to discuss it with us, there just doesn't seem to be any changing of the minds.
I guess the danger is, Simon, that now that the Secretary of State has stood up in the Commons and made these jabs mandatory in effect for social care workers and eventually NHS workers too, that people will dig their heels in, won't they? If they're concerned about taking the jab, state mandatory requirement could make them even less likely to take it.
Unfortunately, there are a lot of people that don't seem to like to be told what they want to do. And yes, there is a right to choose. But surely that right to choose should be their right to protect themselves. There are still people dying from this virus. Lots of people coming out with stories that if only I'd known how bad it was going to be, I would have had the vaccinations. It's not going to go away. It's one of those things that I think it's going to be around forever, or certainly lingering in the background. And the only way we can see out of it right now is that we have these vaccinations and that everybody has the vaccinations.
There have been reports that social care staff who haven't wanted to have the vaccine have moved to the NHS, but of course the news today is that they will also from April have to be jabbed. So that may actually level the playing field, and you may, social care staff may think, well, I work in social care, I might as well have the jab here. I can't just move to the NHS because I'll need the jab there in a few months' time too. What do you make of that?
I think it's strange that they said that social care would get done primarily, followed by the NHS. The NHS doesn't have an age limit within their hospitals. They're run by the same as us. And indeed, COVID is rife within hospitals still. There are still massive breakouts. There's still people that are on protected wards because of COVID, and there's still people that are dying. If people choose to go to the NHS, sometimes you look on it and you think, I understand. Because in social care, it's very difficult to find a career pathway because of the lack of government interest and the lack of the government looking at social care as part of the NHS. But I think it's a good thing. I think it's no different where you work. We have to protect the people with it that we look after. That is that is what we primarily do, and that is what we should be looking at doing. Full stop.